I'm 26 and live in a townhome in the far suburbs of a small city. I work closing shifts, usually getting out at 10 or 11 p.m. I spend most of my time at home, staying up late, gaming all night with my buddies. It was the same routine, day in, day out. But a couple of months ago, I had a brutal week at work. I wasn't in the mood to hang out or even hop online with my friends. Sleep wouldn't come either. I stayed up until 2 a.m., bored scrolling YouTube before deciding to take a walk. I didn't go for walks often, but when I did, they were calming, especially at night when the town was empty. It felt like I had the whole place to myself, eerie, but I liked it. Or at least I used to. I grabbed a hoodie, locked up, and started walking. No plan for how far or long I'd go, I just took my usual route. It led out of the townhomes into a neighborhood of regular houses. None of us out here had much money, so the houses were old, crowded, nothing special. Still better than the townhomes, though. As I walked, the town felt asleep. Every house was dark, silent, no sounds at all. For a bit, it was peaceful, exactly what I needed to de-stress. But I realized I'd been walking straight, no turns, heading further to the outskirts. The street narrowed into a thin road, lined with spread-out houses buried in a wooded area. Most had no lights except faint porch glows, barely visible through the trees and dim streetlights. The vibe shifted, darker, stranger, but I was curious and kept going. Half a mile in, a scream pierced the air. A man's voice, not a cry for help, but like he was trying to get attention. With no other sounds, it echoed through the forest, coming from everywhere at once. I froze, scanning the darkness. Nothing. After 30 seconds, I kept walking. No idea what it was, but I wasn't sticking around to find out. The road grew creepier the further I went. The streetlights dimmed, spaced farther apart. The houses looked ancient, neglected, like no one lived in them. The road itself was crumbling, barely used. I knew this side of town was rough financially, I was broke too, but this felt like a ghost town. The idea of an abandoned neighborhood at 2 a.m. made my skin crawl. Then, another scream, almost like the first, but closer, definitely behind me. I stopped, turned. The faint streetlights barely lit the road I'd come from. The silence was deafening, every shadow making me jump. I was getting paranoid and knew I had to leave. No clue how far the road went or if it looped back, so I turned to retrace my steps. The screams were the problem, though. Whoever it was, they were out there. I walked fast, eyes locked on the road, desperate to escape the woods. A couple of minutes later, another scream, behind me, where I'd just been. I must have passed whoever it was, hidden in the trees. I turned and saw a man on the road, dressed in dark clothes, walking toward me. I only looked for a second before hurrying on. Something wasn't right. If I stared too long, I felt something awful might happen. I glanced back a few times. He was gone every time. Where did he go? Maybe he saw me, turned around, not wanting to seem like he was following. It made sense in this creepy area. I didn't care to find out, I just moved faster. Finally, I reached the regular neighborhood. It wasn't comforting, still eerily quiet, like I wasn't alone. I made it back to my townhome, unsure if the walk helped my stress. I was just glad to be away from that place and whoever was screaming. In the kitchen, I grabbed water and a snack, sat to catch my breath. Then, a shuffling outside my front door, followed by a heavy knock. I shot up, crept to the door, and pressed my ear against it. No porch light, just pitch black outside. Through the peephole, I saw a dark figure, definitely in dark clothes, likely the same guy from the road. He'd followed me home. I backed away, grabbed my phone, and called 911, whispering to stay quiet. I wanted him to stay long enough for the cops to catch him, to explain the screams. He knocked 5 or 6 times while I was on the phone, then silence. I checked again. He was gone. When the police arrived, they asked questions, but nothing came of it. I mentioned the screams. They thought it was odd, but didn't dig deeper. I didn't sleep that night. For the next month, I kept waking to loud, disturbing knocks at my door. By the time I'd check, no one was there. It's been a while since the last knock, but I'm still paranoid. I don't know what was happening in those woods, who was screaming, or what that man wanted. All I know is I came close to something truly awful that night. couple of years ago, I was a Lyft driver. Uber too, but Lyft was bigger in my town, so I stuck with it. The job's freedom meant I never kept a schedule. In my mid-20s, I'd stay up late with friends, so I often worked long overnight shifts. This night started like any other. I began around 11 p.m., did a few drop-offs, then got another pickup request. Late shifts meant I couldn't be picky. I was often the only driver out, and rides were scarce. Skipping one would cost me, so I was on autopilot, accepting requests instantly, then checking details. 99% of the time, it was just picking up folks from bars, parties, or late office shifts. When this request came in, I accepted and started driving. 10 minutes in, I noticed it wasn't toward the town square with stores and offices. A few glances at the map showed the pickup was in the middle of nowhere. It was strange, but I wasn't going to cancel. I arrived 15 minutes later, around 1 or 2 a.m. The place was as empty as it looked on the map. No houses, side roads, trails, nothing. Maybe the guy's car broke down, but I saw no one, no vehicles. I pulled over, notified the customer, and waited. No response, no one appeared, and a bad feeling grew. I canceled and drove off. Annoying, but part of the job. Heading back to town for more pickups, I got another request just 5 minutes later. It was almost the same spot, maybe a mile further down the road. It seemed suspicious, but this wasn't uncommon. Sometimes the app glitched or customers reordered after a cancel. Usually it worked out fine the second time. No reply to my messages, but I accepted, glad the drive wasn't a total waste. I turned around, passed the first spot, and went further. The road was empty, just sparse forest on both sides. This time, a man stood on the roadside. Jeans, gray hoodie, a backpack or duffel bag slung over his shoulder. I parked, glanced behind him. Nothing, no houses, no paths. How he got here, what he was doing, I couldn't guess. He got in, the drop-off marked 5 minutes away. I hoped it'd be somewhere less barren, but it looked just as empty. He stayed silent in the back, but every glance in the mirror showed his eyes locked on me. The tension was suffocating. The odd pickup, his stare, the duffel bag, I started overthinking everything. Why was he out here? What was in the bag? Normally I wouldn't care, but this felt wrong. We reached the drop-off, identical to the pickup spot, nothing around. The silence outside and from him was unbearable. Before I could speak, he said, "Get out of the car." I froze, looked back. He had a gun pointed at me, eyes cold, dead. He pointed to the door, repeated himself. I had no choice. I got out, he followed, staying a few feet back, ordering me to walk into the forest. I pleaded, terrified, but he stayed silent, showing no remorse. We walked deeper, trees thickening, darkness swallowing us. Time dragged, maybe 10 minutes, straight into the wood's heart. He told me to stop. I felt my life slipping away, moments from disappearing forever. Adrenaline surged, and I bolted deeper into the trees. He yelled, "Stop!" But I kept running, using the darkness to hide. He dragged me so deep, I figured he couldn't see me now. His voice followed, not fading. Then a gunshot rang out. The forest fell silent, deafeningly so. He stopped chasing. Maybe he fired in rage or to scare me, knowing I'd escaped. I wandered in any direction, phone left in the car. Eventually, I found a small road with houses, got someone to help. By the time police searched, my car and everything in it were gone. I don't think it was just a robbery, maybe not even his plan. The account he used was a dead end, no trace of him. I drove for a few more months, but got more requests near that spot. Each time I called the police, nobody was ever there. I got so paranoid, I quit and found a new job. It was a rainy weekend where I live. I kind of liked the rain. It made staying in feel okay, an excuse for skipping errands. This was a Sunday, I think. I was exhausted, maybe from bad sleep the night before. I stayed on the couch all day, too tired to move. By dinner, I didn't want to cook. After being cooped up, I decided to drive to a drive-thru for something quick. It was around 10 p.m., rain pounding, roads nearly empty. I was out for 20 minutes, grabbing food and heading back. Pulling up to my house, it stood out in the fog and rain. Every other house was dark, but a light glowed from my upstairs bedroom window. Odd, I always turned off lights before leaving, and I hadn't been upstairs all day. Tired and focused on parking in the rain, I brushed it off, not fully grasping how weird it was until I was in the driveway, out of view. Inside, I turned on downstairs lights, dropped my food in the living room, and sluggishly went upstairs to turn off the light. At the top of the stairs, I froze. No lights were on, not in the bedroom, not anywhere upstairs. All doors were open. I could see everything was dark. I paused, then walked into the bedroom, looking around, confused. I didn't know what I was searching for. At the window, I stared out at the rainy, dark neighborhood. Maybe my headlights reflected on the glass, mimicking a light. I kicked myself for not looking closer when pulling in. A better glance would have confirmed what I saw. Now I was lost. How could a light be on, then off in the 30 seconds it took to park and go upstairs? It had to be a reflection. I rubbed my eyes, trying to shake the tired fog. Back downstairs, I ate on the couch, watching a show. The light thing slipped my mind after 5 minutes. Just a weird moment, I thought. I passed out watching TV, but kept waking up every few minutes. Each time, an unsettling feeling hit, like eyes were on me. I kept looking around, over my shoulders. It got so bad I turned on the living room lights. The TV's glow wasn't enough. It didn't help. The next time I woke, that watched feeling returned. My eyes locked on the dark corner by the hallway to the stairs. No light reached there. It was a shadowy void. Creepy as hell, it fueled my paranoia. I got up, turned on the hallway lights, and decided to get ready for bed. I turned off the TV, cleaned up my food, and headed upstairs. At the bottom of the stairwell, a light went out. I hadn't noticed it was on until the darkness deepened, an unmistakable upstairs light. My gut sank, but I kept climbing, mind racing, refusing to believe it. At the top, I peered into the dark room. Rain tapped the roof, moonlight streamed through the window, making it unbearably eerie. That watched feeling lingered. I stepped in, shakily called, "Hello?" A few more steps, I flipped the light on. Light spilled into the hallway, exactly what I'd seen before, no mistaking it now. As it clicked in my head, something moved in my peripheral vision. The closet door cracked open. Through the gap, eyes stared back at me. We locked gazes for a split second before he knew he was caught. He shoved the door open, stepped out. He didn't charge or attack. He walked toward me, talking, trying to explain, keep me from bolting. His smile was deranged, unhinged. He looked unkempt, but approached like he knew me. I didn't wait, ran downstairs, out the house. Phone in hand, I called the police, standing in the rain. I saw him sprint out the front door, vanishing down the road. Police found the back door's handle and lock smashed, unnoticed since I never used it. He wasn't wet when I saw him. He'd been inside all night while I was downstairs. Nothing was stolen. Why he broke in, why he hid in my closet, I don't know. The light thing baffles me. Why keep turning it on? I haven't felt safe since, knowing he's out there, capable of breaking in, hiding. If anything else happens, I'll update you. My phone was glowing like a haunted disco ball again. At 3 a.m., insomnia had me scrolling past lame Instagram stories and boring tweets. Then I stumbled on a page called The Midnight Whisperers, some anonymous forum of unknown people. Without thinking much, I followed it and got an immediate invite to their community chat group. Desperate for late-night weirdos who got the struggle, I accepted. Right away, I got a text from a user named Midnight Owl with a Black Rose profile pic. I assumed she was a girl. Asking genders these days feels like a minefield. We hit it off over shared music tastes, but soon she got creepy, scarily accurate. She knew my favorite coffee order, an oat milk latte with extra caramel drizzle. I was shocked she even mentioned the chipped nail polish on my pinky I kept forgetting to fix. It freaked me out, but everyone on the forum seemed chill, and Midnight Owl was super insightful about my existential dread, so I let it slide. Then packages started arriving, not creepy at first. A random candle that smelled like my grandma's house, kinda gross. A beat-up copy of a book I loved as a kid. A bird feather with a note tied to it, "I want to be like Emily." At first, I thought it was cool, like a secret handshake with Midnight Owl, maybe an internet buddy. But things turned shady. One random evening, my phone buzzed with a photo of me at my usual coffee shop, captioned, "Love watching you, Emily." My stomach twisted like I was on a death-defying roller coaster. 3 days later, another text, a video of me sleeping, filmed from outside my window. My heart pounded with fear and anxiety. I had a stalker. This wasn't a harmless internet friend anymore. My roommate Amelia, with nerves of steel, saw the terror in my eyes. She used her tech genius brain to dig into Midnight Owl, but the account was a digital ghost. No IP, no trace, nothing. We went full defense mode. Burner phone, pepper spray, the works. I changed all my passwords with two-factor authentication, obviously. The Midnight Whisperers group got shut down by Instagram. Other users had reported it to the authorities too. I thought it was over, but then Amelia suggested, "Emily, let's go to my uncle's cabin this weekend." I hesitated, wanting to lay low, not in the mood for socializing. She insisted the cabin was in the middle of nowhere, no Wi-Fi, a caretaker who leaves at dawn, a stocked pantry so we wouldn't need to go out. It sounded like what I needed. We drove to the cabin, and the first night was fine. The next day, returning from an early hike, we spotted a feather on the porch, like a secret message. Seeing it, I froze. Midnight Owl had found me again. That night, I barely slept. Amelia and I locked every door and window, sat on the couch clutching a baseball bat. Suddenly, the lights went out. An eerie silence lasted 5 to 7 seconds. Then the porch floorboards creaked. Footsteps circled outside our door. Amelia gripped her pepper spray. I was ready to fight whatever came through. The footsteps stopped, then a loud thud hit the door, breaking the lock. Someone stood in the living room. I thought I'd been catfished by some creepy dude, but when we flashed our lights on the intruder, we were speechless. Midnight Owl was a disheveled old lady, clutching a huge metal spanner, likely used to smash the doorknob. A creepy smile stretched across her sinister face. "Emily, come out," she taunted. "I'm only going to rip your face so I can wear it as a mask." I was paralyzed, but Amelia sprang into action, unloading her entire pepper spray canister on the woman's wrinkly face. She screamed in pain and bolted into the woods like a startled rabbit, her cries echoing through the forest. I was sure she'd be back, desperate for me for some reason. We called Amelia's uncle, who arrived with the police. They searched the woods and property but found only weird animal tracks and muddy footsteps. Like a ghost, the stalker vanished. 2 years later, the fear still lingers. Maybe Midnight Owl is still out there, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The thought sends shivers down my spine, a cold reminder that some things are scarier than shadows in the woods. The secrets behind a seemingly innocent username lurk just a click away. Story 2 by Patrick G., Pineville, Louisiana. I've always been fascinated by the paranormal, ghost stories, haunted houses, the supernatural. When I found an online forum discussing haunted places in Pineville, I was hooked. A user, Outrageous Ghost, posted a chilling tale about the infamous house on Sunset Street. Its history was gruesome. A family murdered in the 1920s by the father, who then hanged himself in the attic. Over decades, countless eerie reports surfaced, but none as vivid as Outrageous Ghost's. 6 months ago, he posted about sneaking into the house. Walking through its decaying rooms, he saw a floating yellow balloon that followed him, but stopped when he looked at it. He described a metallic taste in his mouth, a ticklish feeling in the first-floor bedroom, and more. The standout was facing a ghostly specter, a gaunt woman with hollow eyes, her mouth twisted into a scream. He'd been recording, but dropped his camera in a panic and fled. His post ended cryptically. The dead lived there between life and death. I couldn't resist. I messaged him, half skeptical, half fascinated. "Did you really see all that?" "That and more," he replied. We texted for a week, flirting a bit, bonding over our love for the macabre. Then he invited me to explore the house with him, and I agreed. I arrived at Sunset Street as dusk settled, waiting outside. He was running late, and my phone had no signal, so I couldn't text. After a while, I noticed movement inside the house. He must be waiting there. I pushed open the creaky door. Stale air hit me with a shiver. The house was a relic of its brutal past. Peeling wallpaper, broken furniture, an aura of desolation. I called his name. Silence answered. In the hallway, a cold draft brushed me. My shadow on the wall, cast by moonlight, mimicked my movements but lagged, like it had a mind of its own. My heart pounded. This was insane. I pressed on to the dining room, where the temperature plummeted. My breath fogged, a metallic taste flooded my mouth. Then I saw it, a yellow balloon floating silently toward me. My pulse raced as it shadowed my steps, stopping when I looked at it. I turned a corner into what must have been the children's room, old toys scattered on the floor. A faint giggle echoed, then the sound of a bouncing ball. I spun around. Nothing. Leaving the room, I saw her, the specter, outrageous ghost described. She stood on the stairway, hollow eyes, pale skin, a broken jaw like it had been shot. She clutched the yellow balloon. The metallic taste surged again. I backed away, my mind screaming to run. She floated closer, her presence suffocating. I bolted, footsteps echoing through empty halls, racing down the stairs. Near the door, I spotted a dusty camera on the floor, his lost camera. I grabbed it on impulse and burst outside, not stopping until I reached my car. At home, heart still racing, I collapsed on the couch, wondering what I'd gotten myself into. I texted outrageous ghost, no reply. Curiosity won, I charged the camera. It worked, showing videos of the house, empty rooms, broken windows, stairways. The first few were uneventful, but one was grainy, dark. The camera shook like the holder was running, then fell. A shadowy figure appeared, a jawless woman. The video cut off with a boy's blood-curdling scream. At that moment, my phone buzzed, a message from Outrageous Ghost. I found my liberation, thank you. Chills ran through me. I'd been talking to a dead boy the whole time.